Welcome to the first ever live stream from the Northwest Rideshare channel. Today we're going to be covering a special live event put out by Uber and with Uber CEO Dara. I'm not going to even try to pronounce his last name. Oops, let me turn the... Welcome to the first ever live stream from... I apologize about that. I hadn't turned off my audio on my live stream yet. But anyways, yeah, we're going to be covering Uber's live event with CEO Dara. I'm not going to even try to pronounce his last name. He's supposed to be revealing global changes in his vision for the future. So it's going to start here in about 10 minutes. So I just wanted to make sure and have another way to cover it for those who couldn't find it. So enjoy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We'll be starting in 10 minutes, and seats are filling up once again. Make sure you grab your seat. Please note that there will be an opportunity to ask questions with Dara after the presentation.
One thing I wanted to add, Uber seemed to block the live chat on this video on their live stream, so feel free to chat it up and comment below, give me your opinions, and after the live stream's over, I'll kind of come back and if there's any questions I can answer, I will be more than happy to answer them, and yeah, enjoy the live stream.
should start calling slides. We need your help. I bet you could. I'm sure you could. Once again, good morning, everyone. We'll be starting in 5 minutes. Please take your seats. Reminder, please be sure to hang out for the question and answer portion that will follow the presentation. Welcome, Uber driver partners. We'll be starting in 2 minutes. Please take your seats. Reminder, please be sure to save some questions for the question and answer period following. Also, can you please silence your phones during the presentation? If you could silence your phones. Thank you. Good morning, driver partners. Welcome to today's event. We are starting in 1 minute. If you could please get seated and silence your phones. Thank you all for joining us today. At this time, it's my honor to introduce to you Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I am so excited to be here. I've been CEO of the company for a little over 6 months, and this is my first product launch as CEO. And I'm really excited that I get to launch our product in front of you, our driver partners. So I'm totally, totally excited to be here. We have a really, really cool show, and more importantly, we have a great product to show you, a product that we built hand in hand with you and for you. Now, we talk a lot about how Uber has revolutionized the way that people get from A to B, has revolutionized the transportation industry. But the truth is that we don't talk enough about the people who make it possible, you, our driver partners. Millions of people around the world drive with Uber every single week. And every single one of them has a story, has their own reason why they drive with Uber, and certainly stories that they share with our riders. So I wanted to start this presentation by talking about a couple of our driver partners and sharing their stories with you. So the first one that I want to talk to is actually from Seattle, which was my hometown for 13 years. This is Fred. Fred is 82 years young. I hope I'm like him when I'm 82 years as well. His claim to fame is that he was singing at Elvis Presley's wedding. Talk about pressure, all right? Fred drives because he wants to stay connected, because he wants to talk to people, because he wants to feel 82 years young. And from the feedback that we've gotten from our riders, it's clear that our riders love talking to him as well. A couple of comments about Fred. One rider told us that Fred is the most energetic 80-year-old that they've ever met. And another comment is that a person could learn a lot about life just by chatting with Fred. Now, another person that we could all learn from is Galesh. Galesh is a driver for us in India, and she has been the breadwinner for her family for 15 years since she lost her husband 15 years ago. After taking on a few odd jobs around, she started driving for Uber. And driving with Uber allows her to make ends meet, and it also allows her to take care of her ailing mother, as well as her 18-year-old son. She's a partner. She said to us that I might not get things easily, but I don't give up easily. Speaking of not giving up easily, the last story I wanted to share with you is a special one for me. It's about Lei. Lei fled Burma about a decade ago to seek political asylum in the UK with his family. And that's special for me because my family actually left Iran almost 40 years ago to seek asylum in the United States, and we were lucky enough to be in a country at a time where we were welcomed as well. Lei actually viewed England as a place where he could rebuild his life after losing everything, but it didn't come easy. And after 2 long years, he won the right to stay in England only after the Prime Minister of England stepped in to allow him to do so. Lei now drives with Uber. He likes it because it allows him to spend time with his family, but also share his story as well with his riders. And he has a 4.91 rating, and the riders leave him absolutely amazing comments. We're so grateful that Lei is a part of our community. Now, driving doesn't define who you are, but what you do does matter to riders, to the cities in which we operate in, to our company, and to me. And I know it hasn't always felt that way. You're the heart of the Uber experience, but somewhere along the line, as we grew as a company, we lost sight of that. We focused too much on growth and not enough on the people who are driving that growth. We called you partners, but we didn't really treat you as partners. We made mistakes, and our biggest mistake was not making your experience a priority because your experience is what defines the rider experience, defines how they feel about our product, and you are our partners, and you've been with us all along the way, and somehow we lost sight of that. Now, we needed to do better, and we realized that we needed to do better. And the programs like the 180 Days of Change were a huge and important step forward for us. So many people at our company came together, and over 6 months, we launched nearly 40 new features that reached drivers all around the globe. Some of them big, some of them small, but every single one of them were features that you asked for and we listened for. You told us that you wanted your time to be valued, so we introduced paid wait time. You said that it didn't feel like you were supported all the time, so we introduced the 24/7 phone support whenever, wherever you needed it. You told us many, many times, I'm told, and this was even before I joined, that you wanted to be able to receive tips directly through the app. So we built it. We made the change. And since we launched tipping on the app, driver partners all around the globe have earned hundreds of millions of dollars through in-app tipping. It's been a great success and something that we're very, very happy with. Now, 180 Days of Change and programs like it were an important step forward, and to some extent were a correction of what we did in the past. And after that 180 days that program was finished, we knew that our work was far from done. We knew that we needed to go beyond just correcting some of the features that you had asked for, and we needed to improve fundamentally as a company, and we needed to fundamentally improve our product and experience with you to truly now not only call you a partner, but treat you as a partner. And so I'm going to introduce Yuki to the stage to talk a bit about what the path forward looks like, and you're going to see a product that we have built through months and months of effort, but more importantly, a product that we built through real dialogue with you, and a product that I think is going to be a huge, huge improvement over what you have now because we worked with you to build it. So with that, let's get a look. Yuki, come on over. Thank you.
Thank you, Dara. Hi, everyone. My name is Yuki, and I work on the driver experience. And before I start to talk about the future of the driver experience, I actually wanted to start with this number, 8.5 million. It's actually just about the number of hours in a millennium, 1,000 years. But the amazing thing is, it also happens to be the amount of time all of you, as drivers, spend on the platform every single day. Together, you spend 1,000 years every day with this little companion right here, the driver app. That's a lot of time to be spending with anything, let alone an app. So when we started thinking about the future of the driver experience, we knew we had to start here, the app that all of you use. For those of you who remember, this was what the driver app looked like a little over 3 years ago. I know there are some of you in this room today who remember using it way back when. And in 2015, we made some improvements. After years of having to go to a website to check for important information like your earnings and your ratings, finally, you could do it from within the app. And as time passed, we added more features, like destination trips, a bunch of different incentives and opportunities, quests and the ability to track them, a feed with tons of information, tons and tons of information. And while these features we added were hopefully useful, I think some of you will agree that they start to get a little bit out of hand. Take the pickup, for example, arguably the most stressful part of driving. And what started out pretty simple got complex over time. We introduced Uber Eats, and with that, the ability to deliver food. We started asking you how many riders are getting into the car and giving you detailed delivery notes. And soon enough, we just didn't have any space for the map anymore. And we had crammed so much into this app that it became difficult to use. We knew that we were way past the point of small changes. We needed a completely new app. So that's what we built. Let's take a sneak peek. This is the new driver app, and I'm excited to walk you through this today. And the way I'm going to do it is to put the current app on the left-hand side and the new app on the right. So let's go to the current app. One of the things you've told us is that the most important thing to you is earnings. You open the app, and what you want to do is check up on how much you made that last trip, how much you've been making today, this week, and how you're doing against your incentives. And the frustrating thing is, this information can sometimes be all over the place. It's in that feed. You have to dig a little bit deeper to see your weekly earnings and how much progress you've made against your quest. So in the new app, we put earnings front and center. We have an all-new earnings tracker at the very top that updates after every trip. And when you tap on it, you can swipe through your daily totals, your weekly totals, and you can see how close you are to completing your quest. And you can even choose which one of these come first. Tracking your earnings is important, but just as important is finding new earnings opportunities. And to do this, you use the map. As you can see, it can often be cluttered and kind of hard to read. So in the new app, we cleaned up the map quite a bit. When there are a bunch of different opportunities and you zoom out, we make sure that they cluster together so they're easier to see. And when you see that one opportunity you're interested in, you can just tap on it and learn more. And most importantly, you can now navigate to it, something you weren't able to do before. Thank you, thank you. Now, the other thing on the map we cleaned up is how we show surge. Today, it's basically this big red film that covers the entire city. And so what we did is actually we put surge underneath the roads so that you can easily see things like street names and key landmarks. Thank you, thank you. And my favorite part is that we no longer show surge in the ocean. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we've never had anyone requesting from out in the waters. All right, so this is actually a screenshot from a little over a year ago when I first went driving. And when I went online, nothing was happening for 15 to 20 minutes, and I wasn't sure if Uber knew I was online. I wasn't sure if I was ever going to see a rider, and I certainly didn't know what to do next. And I even called up some of my friends back in the office just to check if my account was OK. And the only thing the app was telling me down there in the feed was how to save for retirement, all before I made a single penny on the platform. So we wanted to change that. Oops. A lot of drama right here. I have no more surge jokes, so. Wait for a crew to get it up. All right. So this is what the screenshot looked like when I first went driving. And so we wanted to change that. So now when you're in a slow area, we proactively let you know if we think there's a better place for you to be. We give you insights about the world around you rather than leaving you wondering what to do next. OK, let's say that you're now on your way to pick up a rider, and as you know, this is what it looks like today. And we made some improvements to this experience just to make it a little bit less stressful. So the first one is minor, but we heard your feedback. We're now no longer just showing your ETA to your pickup, we're also showing you the distance to your pickup, the 3.1 miles there, just for a little bit of extra context. And second, when your rider messages you, now you can respond with just a tap with a number of quick replies to choose from, like, I'm stuck in traffic. And the last change addresses a huge pain point, those times when you can't start or end a trip because you have no internet connectivity. And yes, and it's a pretty terrible feeling. You just have to keep driving and driving until your phone finally has reception. So that won't happen in the new app. Now you just start the trip or end the trip, and both you and your rider can be on their way. And the way it works is we actually just take your GPS location, which your phone has without internet, and we save it for later. And next time we have a connection, we just send it up. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So those are some of the changes we made for when you're driving. But when you're not, you're probably looking at all this information on the feed that we just talked about earlier. And you told us that it can be confusing, how it's hard to know what's new, what's not. That message that you saw 3 days ago that you thought was pretty important or interesting, now you can no longer find because it's completely gone. So now we've just made it dead simple. You have an inbox of sorts for your notifications, and it's just in chronological order. We keep track of what you've seen and what you haven't, and hopefully this will feel much more organized. The other thing you're probably doing when you're offline is probably checking on your ratings. And this is what it looks like in the current app, and this is my screenshot, by the way, of my ratings, and I only have 21 5-star trips. I know all of you do that in a single day. But in the new app, what we wanted to do is show you just more than just these numbers. We show all your accomplishments on Uber, your lifetime trips, the compliments that you've gotten, the heartwarming thank you notes that your riders have received. All of this is much easier to see now. And finally, for those of you new to driving on Uber, we know that it can be pretty difficult to learn about all these different features and keep up with them. And today, we offer a few articles here and there, but that's about it. So now we're building out an entire guide with a bunch of different videos showing you the basics about the app and how many of these features work. We want to make sure that you feel prepared and confident before you're on the road. So that was a preview of the new app and some of its features. And many, if not all of them, were based on your ideas and your feedback. So thank you for that. This new app is special not just because of what we built, but because of how we built it, together with you. And we want to show you a little bit about what that process looked like, so we put a quick video together for you. Let's take a look.
Bom dias, Dara. Seja bem-vinda.
Obrigada. Vamos lá. 300 meter enter the roundabout and take the 5 exit onto Jalan Imam Bonjol toward Monas.
What the hell? My car is flying.
This is the first opportunity I really had to, really interact.
It's hard to explain when a screen freezes sometimes and where it froze at.
It's exciting to have some input on the app and, the way that Uber's working. Being a driver, you like to be heard.
What's the 11,800 price?
The time, yeah.
The time?
Yeah.
But 6 minutes is the time.
Yeah, 11.8 saya belum tahu ini.
So this is the most important thing for drivers, which is he needs to find what is the incentive. When he finally found the button for it, took him to a website that failed to load. And obviously, from his face, you see that he loves this.
जब हम लोग कस्टमर को स्टार्ट ट्रिप देते हैं पहला वाला था स्क्रीन ऐसा करना स्लाइड करना अगर टच अभी जो है वो सिर्फ टच होने से स्टार्ट होगा
One thing that's easy to forget when you're looking at data and you're spending time in the office is the people that you're impacting and the stories behind them.
Juga perlu dibantu, butuh pekerjaan. Akhirnya ya saya turunin mobil gitu. Nah, karena teman itu berjalan tidak maksimal, akhirnya saya cobain.
Maksudnya bantu arsip jadi adminnya itu, jadi akhirnya saya dinaikin jadi headnya gitu kan, untuk bagian warehouse dan bagian office-nya.
I had my daughter like a year and a half ago, and I love being with her. So I didn't want to go back to work. I was like, no, I'm not going back to work. I can't leave her with anybody.
We are there with Uber, and Uber is also with us. You show something more, even we give much more from our side. If you give us a little consideration, I think it will definitely be helpful.
I think we as a company have to do a lot more. And so I come from a perspective of not what we've done great so far, is more of a perspective of what more we need to do.
We're taking their questions, we're helping them download the app, we're doing this together, and they see that, and it doesn't end here. It actually starts today. So what happens next is what matters.
This is what we need. It really, like the 180 days of change is real.
Wow, it's crazy to see the last 3 or so months condensed into just 3 minutes. Hi everyone, my name is Kim, and like you, I don't sit in an office in San Francisco. I work here on the operations team in LA, and it's my job to make sure that the folks in SF actually take into account your experiences in the real world. What you saw in that video was an entirely new approach to building, and it's something we should have been doing all along. You told us what you wanted, and we listened. We built the new app alongside you. We also launched a beta program, which we called Building Together, so we could really understand what the app would feel like driving during rush hour in Cairo, or delivering food with bad connection in Bangalore, or sitting in traffic on the 405 in LA. In November 2017, nearly 500 drivers and delivery partners all around the world joined the beta program and started testing the new app, from the US all the way to India. We kicked it off by inviting our beta drivers to our green light hubs, where engineers on our teams helped install the beta apps on their phones. And we walked them through a presentation like this one. They were excited, skeptical, full of questions. Many, many questions. And there was a lot of time for us to listen. And drivers had a lot to say. They told us about everything from where they come from, to their families, and to how we can continue to remove the stress from driving. This was true everywhere. In Sao Paulo, in Bangalore, and yes, here in Los Angeles. Many drivers ended the event by taking their first trip on the new app with a member of our team. And for the first time ever, we had a beta app out in the wild in the hands of 500 people. But it didn't end there. And now I'm going to invite Haider to the stage, who will tell us about what happened next.
Thank you, Kim, and hello, Los Angeles. My name is Haider, and I lead engineering for the driver experience team. It's great to be back in LA, my hometown, to talk about some of the things we've been working on over the last year. What you saw in that video was new for us. We haven't always built together. We knew the feedback that we would get throughout this process would be crucial and critical to the future of the app. So we thought long and hard about different ways we can surface and collect feedback from you. But a typical beta wasn't going to cut it for us. We wanted to step it up a notch. We truly wanted to understand how the app performed in various cities and different circumstances for different drivers. We wanted to know when it worked and met expectations and when it fell short. So we came up with a few ways to listen and to learn. Drivers did ride-alongs with members of our team and got to share their experience firsthand. They shared ideas over lunch and gave their perspective on the new design. In many cities, drivers invited us into their homes, giving us a stronger purpose of what we are doing and why. Some of them even became pen pals over WhatsApp, and they told us everything and anything about the app, the good, the bad, and yes, even the ugly. As drivers used the app, they were able to file bug reports. So for engineers, a bug is basically anything that goes wrong in the app. Drivers were able to file these bug reports right from the app, and these would come to our team of engineers to investigate. Over the course of the last 5 months, nearly 4,000 bugs were filed by drivers in beta cities. That may seem like a lot, and I'll admit, it was a lot of bugs, but that's the purpose of the beta, is to find and fix bugs. And the worst type of bug is the one that's hard to find or lacks enough information for us to fix. So this was extremely crucial for us to get the app in this state, and we're very thankful to drivers in the beta cities for doing this. These are just a few examples of how we collected feedback. But I'm sure you're wondering, well, what did you guys do with that feedback? Our team on the ground took what they were hearing from drivers and shared it with teams in San Francisco in the form of what we call driver stories like these. These stories quickly went viral within the company. Suddenly, our engineers felt deeply connected to what was happening to a driver in a given city. They realized the work that they do has a profound effect on the ground, that a minor issue in the app could lead to a larger issue in a driver's life. And they were extremely excited to fix what was broken, and we fixed a lot of things. The feedback we got and these stories had real change. My favorite example is actually something I got to witness firsthand. when I traveled to Egypt to meet with drivers in Cairo. Some drivers felt that the way we had designed the earnings tracker was inappropriate because it could lead to something they call hasad. Hasad in Arabic literally means envy, and in Egyptian and some Middle Eastern cultures, drawing attention to your good fortune can bring bad luck. While we had designed the tracker to be hidden when a rider is in your car naturally, what we failed to realize beforehand was some drivers would feel uneasy about the potential of somebody outside the car catching a glimpse of what you've made. So we shared this feedback with the team, and people jumped on it and tried to come up with different solutions, and we ended up redesigning it so that a driver can hide their earnings whenever they wanted to. This may seem like a small change, but it's the small things that start to add up, and taken all together, they can make or break your experience. So we took each one of these very, very seriously. We're excited about the new app, and we want it to work for everyone. That's why today, we'll start rolling it out gradually over the coming months. And during this rollout, we're going to continue to listen, gather feedback, and make changes based on what we hear. We're also going to continue to test with it and drive on the app, because that's our way to ground our work in your experience, and to feel what you feel, and to make the app as seamless as possible. On that note, I'd like to share a video of a team member who took it for a spin. Let's take a look.
Well, we're here for me to check out the driver app in action. All right, let's roll.
Let's roll.
Show me what you got.
Yeah.
On our way. 3, all right. So I'll accept it.
Hello. Come on in. How's it going?
Start.
Oh, there you go.
How does it feel to be in the Uber driver's seat?
It feels good. So this is my first time driving in San Francisco, so that's wigging me out a little bit. Okay, I'm going left here. I apologize. I think I missed my turn. Oh, I missed again. Oh my God. Let's see if there's a correction. Oh my God, look at that. That's horrible. Should I just drop you off here? All right, here we go. Well, have a great day.
Hey.
Hello.
How's it going?
Co-pilot. How are you?
Good.
Oh no. It told me to go right, and now it's telling me to go straight.
We're picking up Daniel.
It says start Uber X.
No, we don't start until you pick him up.
Yeah, of course. Should that be there?
3, 2, 1.
Cha-ching.
Charging for wait time. We get paid. All right.
Yes. All right, now we can relax. So this one, it shows that I'm supposed to drop you off on the left side.
Not drop off, pick up.
But it should have routed me differently, don't you think?
They see us.
Let's see, I'm going to end the Uber X, Daniel.
Because you got to know you can't drop us off on Market Street.
We need to. This is a nice Uber X car, by the way.
Yes.
You just missed another turning. Yeah.
To understand what drivers are going through and the look and the feel. We get it all the time on the rider side, but I think we've got to connect more on the driver side as a team and as a company.
I have to admit it was really cool using the app, but I was supremely overconfident going into using this thing. I drive with 2 teenagers and twin 5-year-old boys, and I'm like, what's a big deal? I've got like a little village behind me when I drive every day, but just to pay attention to the rider and the app and the directions, it was a lot tougher than I thought. So respect to you for what you do every day. And when I missed that turn, I totally panicked. It was a disastrous turn, totally. And I was like, if this was a rider who wasn't getting a salary from me, he'd be pissed off at me. So it was cool having that experience, and I hope to have that experience more. Listen, when I came to Uber, the board brought me on because they wanted change. That's why I came in, and when I presented to the board about what my intentions were, they were that we need to change as a company, and not just change what we're doing, but also to listen more and listen to the communities in which we operate, the cities in which we operate, the regulators with whom we partner, and especially you, our driver partners. And one of the first things that I did when I went out there in every city that I visited was to have driver partners, to have driver forums and talk with our driver partners. And it was amazing how much I learned. I was amazed at how much you know about the systems, our operation, our product, how we work. Some of you scared the crap out of me, but I got it, you know, and I understood that I had a lot to learn as a CEO here, and we had a lot to learn as a company. And what I'm really excited about is that when the product team, who really have put their heart and soul into this product, they put a huge amount of work into it, they went in there wanting to build this product for you and wanting to partner up with you and listen to you. And they've listened to a lot of the folks in this room. You've been kind of co-authors of this product, and hundreds of other drivers all around the world have really been co-authors of this product that we're going to launch together. And while the app isn't going to be perfect on day one, I can commit to you that this is actually what excites me about this product, is that it is a platform that we have built that through feedback from you and through listening to you is going to improve day after day after day. And just as we built this product as a platform that can improve, what I'll commit to you as a company is that we too are going to improve day after day after day, and it's going to be about listening to you. It's going to make sure that you're not just heard, but you're listened to, that you're treated as partners in more than just name, and that as you join us on the platform and as we build product for you, driving gets a little less stressful, safer, easier, and hopefully more productive for you as you continue to partner up with us as we build our products and as we build our platform on a global basis. So thank you for what you've done for us, and we hope that we're going to deserve the partnership that we talk about going forward, and we think this is just the beginning. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Please stick around. In just a few minutes, we'll have Q&A time with Dara and Harry Campbell, the resident rideshare guy.
Well, it's kind of what we expected. I know a lot of you were asking for rate increases, better pay, but we all knew that it wasn't going to be coming here. It doesn't even look like they're going to let us chime into the Q&A section. So if any of you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat now. Let's bring this back over here. Yep, that is it for the live stream. They did not even let us listen to their Q&A chat. So only 262 watched this. Well, this isn't the actual stream. I restreamed this from Uber because I know a lot of you were saying that you couldn't find the link to the original stream. So I kind of felt like this is a good way to kind of start off the channel. I mean, this is the only second video we've put out on this channel. 262 viewers, I think, was pretty great for, you know, this is the only second video we put out on the Northwest Rideshare channel. So if you're just tuning in, we just watched the Uber special announcement with CEO Dara. You know, it was interesting. I mean, it's nice to see that they're willing to make changes to the app. Let's get rid of this here. I think I just closed out the wrong thing. There we go. So, I mean, I like that they're taking some feedback from us, but I mean, I knew they were gonna talk about driver pay increases in this live stream. I mean, it's just obvious that, you know, it's on a global scale. I'm hoping they do a lot for drivers, as in pay increases. I'm fortunate enough to live in the Northwest, where we actually get still a pretty decent per mile fare. I think we're at $1.50 per mile, 52. But I know a lot of you viewing this in a lot of the bigger popular cities don't get that. I know a lot of you are only getting 20 cents, 40 cents a mile. So, I mean, that's absolutely understandable. I live in a small city, so, you know, yeah. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them into the chat. If you missed it, feel free to go back and start the play from the beginning. All hail Thunder, you're welcome. Yeah, I mean, it looked, there's not a lot of huge new improvements. I agreed. Now, I've only been on the platform for about a month. Can I give you a bit of background? I just started driving for Uber and Lyft about a month ago. And, you know, so even just from a month ago, I didn't see much changes other than design aspect. There's nothing that stood out to me as like, wow, this is a groundbreaking app. Michael, no, we do not get to see the Q&A section. They ended their live stream before we got to see their Q&A section. Thank you, Uber. I mean, it would have been nice to tune in to hear what that was all about. Let's see. Nothing. Jeremy, yes, I am from the Corvallis area. I live in Oregon. You know, we got a college town over in Corvallis, and it's that's what I think keeps such a small town afloat for Uber and Lyft is the college campus there. A lot of business with the college, so. See what else. What is better, Uber or Lyft? You know, I've only been on the platform for a month. I've taken several rides with both platforms. I like Lyft better because it seems to pay their drivers better. And I mean, their help is better. It's easier. Just a couple weeks ago, I had a rider spill a 44-ounce soda in the back of my car, and before I even accepted my next ride, I already received damage compensation. I mean, it was literally within about 10 minutes. I had someone on the phone talking to me, telling me what I need to do, how I need to document it. It was very simple and easy for me. So I do have to say I do lean towards Lyft a little bit better. But in my city, there's more of demand for Uber than there is for Lyft. More riders use Uber. Now, what I do is I've actually made business cards, which I don't have with me. They're down in my car. I've made referral business cards to refer people to Lyft to hopefully try to help raise awareness, because still in 2018, not a lot of people know about Lyft. Uber is just very popular, and a lot of the students use Uber just because it's better known. Sometimes the fares are a little bit cheaper, I've noticed. I've only been at it for a month, though, so let's see what else did I miss here. You know, I think the reason they didn't show the Q&A is because they didn't want to show that controversy, because if that room is full of partner drivers, like they said it was, I think there's going to be a lot of controversy about pay and a lot of questions about that. I think that's why they didn't show that section of Q&A. Will Uber see this chat? I don't doubt it. My wife pulled up the live stream, and this live stream was ranking higher than Uber. I think purely because we enabled the chat and Uber did not in their live stream. So there's a good chance Uber will see this chat and see this video. I have no problem with that. You know. So yeah. What did the CEO say? Brad, you said, what did the CEO say? Please tell me. Live stream failed. I hope Hope so, Uber. He was just reflecting on the changes they were making with the app, kind of, and saying how he wanted to get more of our feedback. He didn't really elaborate a whole bunch. I don't know. I got a lot of fluff in that live stream. It seemed like not a lot of. I mean, I think it's great that they're revamping the app and they're continuously working on it. Don't get me wrong. I think that's great. But there wasn't significant changes. There wasn't. I mean, they made this out to be a big thing where they're launching a new product and all that, and then it was just a change, cosmetic changes in the app. I mean, which is something I think that should be done. Where's the live stream? The live stream's actually already ended, Kay. You can go ahead and start this video over to view it again. You know, that's another reason I wanted to put this out there, so you guys could watch the live stream again, because I wasn't sure if Uber was going to leave it on YouTube. So, what was that? Oh. It's not up. Sounds like it's no longer, like Uber's already taken the live stream down. They didn't save it. So I will leave this video on the channel for you guys so you can rewatch it. You know, if you have any more questions, I'll be glad to answer them. You know, feel free to hit up the chat up. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. We're just starting this channel out. This is literally our second video. The only other video I did was a quick introduction to the channel. I plan on covering tips and tricks on how to maximize your earning with not only Uber, but with Lyft as well. And we might be exploring some others like DoorDash and stuff like that. Yes, you answer. Yes, that's right. Uber's negative comments. That would be bad PR. yes, Kyle. That is correct. I mean, that's why I'm sure we couldn't hear the Q&A, because they didn't want to blast any bad questions out to the internet. Because I'm sure that Q&A is going to last probably for several hours unless they shut it off. And I'm sure we wouldn't be able to tune into it. I was excited when I heard there was going to be a Q&A afterwards, but very disappointed that we couldn't hear about it. So. Vince, be super nice and friendly to riders. You'll see more tips and money. Absolutely. You know, the one thing that I think that really makes driving for Uber and Lyft profitable, and especially those your markets that have low per mile, is tips. Tips are ginormous. I mean, you know, and I'm so glad that Uber now has in-app tipping. I mean, that literally, I think, just came out as I started driving on the platform. You know, because I did tons of research before I started driving, and everyone was saying you can't tip in-app. I'm like, what? You can't tip in-app? This seems ridiculous. So the fact that you can now tip in-app on both Uber and Lyft is ginormous, and that's where you can actually make this business profitable. I feel is the tips you receive from your riders. So treat every single rider with the best you can. God bless you. Sorry, but treat every single rider the best you can. You know, I hear day in and day out all these drivers saying, oh, you know, don't do chargers, don't bother with the little water bottles, don't. But you know, I've only been driving for a month, and the little things like that, the little water bottles, I have a 3-way charger in the back that charges pretty much every phone out there right now. I have a Google Play subscription to Google Music, and I play music, and like Friday nights I pump up the jams. And last Friday I had several people where we cranked that stereo up, and all my passengers were singing along on the way to the bar, and they're screaming, best Uber driver ever. That there makes the difference. That there is what gets you the tips, and the tips make this business profitable, even more so. I mean, if you add in your tips, I mean, sometimes on a good night, that could be, a huge uptake. So, treat every rider the best you can, even if they're treating you like garbage. I mean, I've already had that fair share of passengers that don't treat you right, but just treat them the best you can. So, cancelable when the customer violates company policy, like kid seats. I agree, Dan. They do need that option. I have not had it yet where I've had to cancel with a rider that doesn't have car seats or anything, but they do need that option, and you should still get your cancellation fee. I believe. In that situation, what I do is I go ahead and cancel and turn around and contact Uber right away and say, hey, take a screenshot of the rider and the information. Say, this is why I canceled. If you have a dash cam, which you should have a dash cam, you could even include that footage showing how you were professional and say, it's state law. I cannot take a child without a car seat, a proper car seat. So, I mean, have your dash cam so you can have all that proof how you're a professional and submit it to Uber, and you should be able to still get that cancellation fee, I do believe. So. Music, etc. My friendly person, I have 4.9 for 100 rating and great tips. Jeremy, that does. I mean, I hear plenty of people that say that. And that's the great thing about this. This is a business. You don't have to do those things if you don't feel like it's necessary. In my market, it makes a big difference. I've noticed. I've had days where I was just so busy I didn't put water bottles and stuff in the back. For my riders. And the thing is, in the month I've done it, I've only gone through 2 cases of water bottles. I haven't even gone through them. I still have over half a case left. Not every rider takes them. A lot of riders don't even know that they're there or that they're free. They think they got to pay for them. So, it's not necessary. I mean, it's a business write-off, so I don't mind doing it. Just for that slight extra chance that they might tip me. Because I had someone say, "Oh, you got water back here? Oh, this is so awesome! Thank you. I'm gonna give you a tip." And they did. They gave me a $5 tip on a $3 fare. I mean, the tip was more than the fare just because I had a little water bottle back there. I mean, it's really up to you. If you don't feel like it's working for you, don't do it. I mean, you got to figure out what works in your market. I live in a very small market, a very small town. We have 3 small towns in my market, and the only reason that Uber even exists, I think, in my market is because we have a college in our town, a big college. So that makes a huge difference. So, 90% of my business is the drunken college crowd that a lot of drivers don't want to deal with. Just because that's a whole different ball game. Now, there is some driving in the daytime. With my schedule, I mainly deal with the bar crowd. So, little things like that do make a big difference for me. Dan, I do agree. You shouldn't have to beg for a tip. I don't even bring up a tip. I never mention the word. But, if I can nudge it, I do have a tip jar. I built my own tip jar. I kind of will go in that in future videos. I don't have to, you shouldn't have to beg for it, but this is a service industry. If you do go above and beyond, I think it does always pay off. Not always, but it does pay off when you do go above and beyond for your riders. We live in Oregon, on the rainy nights and stuff, I have rear seat warmers in the back of my vehicle. I'll turn those on, and I can't tell you how many compliments I get. "Oh, you got seat warmers back here? No way! This is the best Uber ever, or the best Lyft ever." I go all out. I have seat warmers. I have my my chargers, my water bottles. I go all out trying to give that 5-star service, and it pays off in the long run. But like I said, every market's different. In those bigger markets, your riders are probably not expecting all that. In my small of a market, if you live in a small market, you might have to go above and beyond just to try to get those tips. So, a lot of my riders don't even know tipping's available still, or don't you have to go above and beyond in my market. but like I said, find out what works in your market. Find out what works in your area. If you live in a big city like San Francisco, no, you probably don't have to do all that stuff because your riders automatically will just give you a tip. That's what I believe. So let's see what else is in the chat. Jeremy, you are in my market. Where are you from, Jeremy? Are you in Corvallis as well? Don't take the water. Be charged for the water. Michael, yeah, I mean, I've had riders too, like, ask me, oh, how much is this water? I'm like, have it, feel free. I mean, it is a business write-off. It's a tax write-off. I mean, that's one cool thing, is you always, I mean, to me, I always have water in my car anyways. It's a safety thing. If you're out on the road and you come dehydrated, it's a tax write-off. I mean, it's not really cost you anything. And if you're like me, I save the water bottles and take them back. We have a 10 cents deposit in Oregon. I mean, I make a lot of my money back, and in the amount of tips I've got, an 18-pack case of water bottles costs $2. I can make that back in one tip. I mean, if I get that back in one tip from a rider, being thankful I have water bottles, 100% worth it for me, and Costco is even better. I don't do candy. I kind of sometimes do gum if I happen to have it. But yeah. Don't do water. It's an annual. Is annual. Oh, sorry, Dan. I didn't understand that. Yeah. You shouldn't have to beg Uber for cancellation fees. No. And there's some times I've had to cancel. I've waited 6-7 minutes. I'm a strong believer. After 5 minutes, if the rider's not out there, cancel and move on. That's the thing, is you kind of got to keep your riders in check. After 5 minutes, if they're not out there ready to hop in, cancel. Now, a lot of times I will call or text, and 99% of the time they don't answer. But yeah, 5 minutes, absolutely cancel. And for the other thing we're talking about with the car seats, no, you shouldn't have to beg Uber for that cancellation fee. But I think Uber does the way it is. The reason it is the way it is because people out there, some drivers have abused it. So I think that's why sometimes we end up having to beg for the cancellation fee, beg for the cleaning fees. Is because there's a very small percentage, but there is some drivers who have gone out and abused it and really make it more difficult for all us other drivers out there. So thank you, Dan. Rate in order to tip. Drivers miss a lot of tips because the passenger doesn't choose to tip or no to tip. Yeah, Moose, that is correct. Yeah. Encourages messing your cars that you might miss and cause the next rider to rate you lower. Jeremy, you are very correct. I've had someone spill one of the water bottles or step on it and it kind of exploded. So yes, I always get in the habit though of every time I drop off a rider, I look back, make sure they didn't leave anything, make sure, it's just a habit I've already created. And I always check the water bottles because there's nothing grosser in my opinion than having your passengers drink one of those water bottles halfway and leave it there. So that's just I glance back, I check my water bottles, and then I go, make sure they're good, and I go. It takes a couple extra seconds. I'm already online though by that point, so yes, it does encourage mess. That's the reason I don't do gum and candy, because of the wrappers. So, I'm sure Jeremy, you understand. With us living in Oregon. I almost have to stop almost once a night to kind of clean up the back, just because people tracking dirt and leaves and stuff. if it's a busy night, I won't. I won't lie. But on a slower night, I almost always break out my little car vacuum and vacuum the back, because people tracking dirt and leaves and stuff, and I try to keep my car really pristine. Now, when I'm doing that stuff, I stay online and keep myself in a position where I can easily throw my stuff back in the back and go pick up my next customer. But yeah, just living in Oregon, your car kind of gets dirty as is, so. Alaska during winter. I get candy year round, brings blood sugar up. Who are drunk before, and it keeps them from barfing. Yeah, Dan, I like giving water. I sometimes offer gum. Like I said, I haven't been doing it lately, but yeah, I do agree, Dan. I'm curious, what is your perspective will be when you've been doing this for more than a month? My perspective on that, and I'm glad you brought that up, Jeremy. So currently I'm doing this part-time. I do have a full-time job, but luckily with my job I have 4 days off in a row, so I'm able to do this on my days off, and kind of also on my days I do work. My schedule is kind of it's a different schedule, but currently I'm actually looking to move out to Central Oregon, out towards Bend, and I am planning on actually moving this to more of my full-time gig, and I wouldn't even consider making this my full-time gig if there wasn't a profit, if I knew I couldn't be profitable. I drive a 2007 Chevy Suburban, which you may have seen in my very first video. It is not the most gas-efficient vehicle out there. It's not brand new. It's a Suburban. It's a big vehicle. I still take Lyft rides, and I still take Uber X rides. And I don't make a lot of money on my Lyft and Uber X. I make more money, yes, on my XL and Plus rides, but I'm purely, I can still be profitable if I hustle, and that's the key to this business. So yes, I am actually planning probably within the next 9 months or so to make this my full-time gig, as I'm changing job markets and everything. So, and I wouldn't even consider doing that if I didn't know I could make a profit and I didn't enjoy doing it. Yes, you get those crummy passengers sometimes, but there's still a profit to be made. So, but yeah, hope that answers your question, Jeremy. Dan, I've been doing this for 10 months, part-time, have 2,000 rides. Yeah, in my month I've been doing this, I think I'm at about 200 rides currently. I just do it part-time, so. Oh, Kyle, I understand. Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to be completely honest. I've only been doing it a month. I'm sure it'll change. I was going to go out and drive last night and decided not to, just because I just wasn't feeling it. I am very new at this. Jeremy, Bend is legit for Ubering. My dad lives there and makes a killing doing it part-time. I think I've seen you out and around. Yeah, I have a tan color Suburban. I have a Lyft amp. I have a little Uber light. I'm going to go into those in future videos, kind of saying why I think those are important. Seriously, strong suggestion, don't try to do it full time. It doesn't pencil, especially in smaller markets. Yeah, I don't plan on possibly doing this full time until I move out to Central Oregon. Right now I have a good job. We're getting ready to sell our house and make the move. I don't think I could ever make Uber and Lyft full-time in the market I am in now, in Corvallis. It just doesn't support it, especially in my vehicle. Now, I do have another vehicle that's more fuel efficient, that's not an XL, that I will be using here soon. I'm just waiting on the DMV to get me my registration and all that for it. But yeah, and it's just a temporary full-time. Can you make business money doing this business full time nowadays? It's really up to you. But it it's definitely hard. It definitely puts a lot of wear and tear not only on your vehicle but on your body, sitting in that seat all day long. So, Michael, you do about 15 to 20 hours per week. Yeah, last week I did about 15 hours. I only worked 2 days last week. One day I did 5 hours, the other day I did 10, and I made about $450 just off of 2 days. Didn't have any long trips. You know, it was all short, a lot of minimum fares, which those really suck. I mean, I had literally, last week, I drove from Corvallis to Albany, which is about a 25-minute drive, to take a passenger 2 blocks. And it was on Lyft, so I didn't get any extra. It was a $3, or it was like a $3.75 fare. I drove 25 minutes, which I would normally never do. I just drove. The only reason I drove 25 minutes was because I was heading home anyways, and my pickup was in that area. But literally, I drove 25 minutes for a fare, and they only had me take them 2 blocks. I mean, yeah. So, Jeremy, I will probably hit you up. You can try to hit me up on Facebook right now. I do have a Facebook group, Northwest Rideshare. But yeah, Jeremy, I will definitely hit you up. We're not looking probably to buy right away over in Central Oregon, but you know, we're probably going to rent for a little while. But yeah, absolutely. So. Kyle, yep. Thank you again. You know, like I said, I just kind of wanted to put this out there for everyone. You know, I didn't realize it was. So everyone could see, you know, the live stream. I know a lot of you had trouble finding it, or the live stream wasn't working. So I just want to put it out there. Ouch! I can't believe you accepted that fare. yeah. Like I said, the only reason I accepted that fare, I almost never accept a fare that's 25 minutes away. My limit's normally 15, unless it's on Uber and you're getting that additional, you know, premium for driving further. But the only reason I accepted that fare is because I was already heading to Albany. And I just like, you know, I'm getting ready to go offline here soon anyways. I might as well have a fare lined out to drive to Albany. But yeah, it totally wasn't worth it. That fare cost me, I lost money on that one. And that's going to happen. That's going to happen in this business. So. Gets gas face. Yeah, you know, Dan, that is a good point. You know, I think if Uber and Lyft's asking you to drive anything more than 15 minutes, they should tell you how long the fare should be. I think that would be a great improvement. Or they should just pay you more. Uber starting that with the Uber X. I think it's if you drive more than 12 minutes, if it's expected to be more than 12 minutes, there's a chance to get that premium. But if you drive for Uber XL, you don't get that. Because I think actually, I correct myself, it wasn't Lyft, it was Uber XL that evening. I drove all that way for that little fare. So, and then they could have put that feature in the new app. yeah, Kyle, I doubt it. Yeah, I doubt it. Now, I have to say, I do love what Lyft is doing. When you arrive at your destination, you can see where your rider is going. That is, in my opinion, a huge improvement. You know, as you're sitting there waiting for your passenger to come out, you can see where you're going. You can get an idea of where where you're going, where you're going to set up next. That is, I think, awesome on the Lyft platform. I wish Uber would do something similar. So, Jeremy, yeah, it's not an oversight. Yeah, Jeremy, I understand, because otherwise everyone out there would be cherry picking their rides. You know, I understand. But I mean, it'd be nice if they did it whenever you got that longer fare, or just simply on every single platform, just pay you a premium. You have to drive more than 7 minutes. I think it should be, if you have to drive more than 7 to 15 minutes, you should be getting that premium rate. So you should be compensated for that mileage. So, or charge a higher per mileage rate. when you have to drive further. I think they should charge higher per mileage rate, anyways. But yeah, any more questions? Feel free to wrap it. I'm going to be wrapping it up here soon. Make sure you subscribe. We're going to be doing a lot more videos here. On how to maximize your earnings. How I'm going to do some videos on my current setup with my 2007 Chevy Suburban. Little things I've done to make it more profitable for me, to increase my tips. I forgot the fare to a 1 minute trip. Yeah. 7-minute ride to a fare for a 1 minute trip. I was heading that way. But yeah, I appreciate you, all of you tuning in. It looks like we still got quite a few of you watching. But yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, like, comment, subscribe. You guys have brought up some really good points. Like I said, we all knew we weren't going to get pay raises with this live stream. It's nice to see that they're working on the app still, but if they're going to even announce pay raises, it's going to be on a per market basis. We all knew that. So, but yeah. So what is it? Here, really quick, I'll just go over the chat again. I won't accept, Jeremy, I won't accept any riders more than 7 to 8 minutes away, or a rider rating of 4.7 or less. That is very good advice. I especially in our market, anything more than 7-8 minutes away is pretty much out of town, and likely not a large fare. We have a lot of minimum fares in our market. So, Dan, just telling you how long the ride will be beforehand is not cherry picking. Yeah, I agree, Dan. Let's see. So what was the change for drivers? Really, there was no change. To be 100% honest, there was zero change for us. They redesigned the app to make it look a little bit different, but there was no change. Still the same old crummy GPS from what I saw. That's one thing I will admit, I use the Uber's navigation system, just because I hate switching back and forth between Google Maps or Waze. I really wish they would get on board, but Lyft made the good decision and partnered with Google and got Google Maps in there. So that's another reason I like driving for Lyft better, is because they're a better navigation system. But there really was no change. They tried to make the app look more streamlined and stuff. So, but yeah. Well, again, thank you for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.